Welcome to Messy Bible, Clean Heart. This is Dana, and I thought to start my new channel, I would upload some old videos that I made for my old channel as we work in this new year on this new project. This piece was done as a part of a Bible study, and I hope that you enjoy it. It's an old video, but I look forward to creating new things with you. So sit back and enjoy. I hope this encourages you. God bless, and I hope to see you soon. I am coming to you all with this new installment of the Bible journaling Bible study called Women of Valor. You will see me here setting up, and I will talk to you all a little bit about the passage. But what I want to show you is that as I sit down to do my journaling, I don't always know what I'm going to do. But here I've sketched out already the idea that I have, and you see me here just taking a look at the color wheel and thinking about how I wanted to handle the color in this entry. And so it's kind of honestly flying by the seat of my pants, hoping that it will all turn out okay. Another reason why I wanted to show this is because one of the things that I hear from a lot of people when I do these workshops like at my church is that I cannot draw, or I don't know what to draw in. It's almost this idea of being perfect or being as good as someone else, or any type of comparison that you could potentially make. And I wanted just to remind you all, you can leave that at the door. All of this is about having quiet time in the Word with God. A lot of times it's with your thoughts and your thoughts of what the passage represents to you and how you can apply what you've learned to your life. And in the end of the day, for me, it slows me down. We can read fast, we can think really quick on our feet, but this process can only go as fast as you get it done. And so for me, it can take 20 minutes, it could take 15 minutes, it can take an hour. And that's why I wanted to show this before I start the process of speeding this video up. So don't think that it must be perfect. Just get the time in. And so we're going to jump in. But before I start explaining this passage, the last thing I think I want to mention is that, let's just say you say, Dana, I can't even draw a stick figure. That's okay too, because there's ways that you can do this with coloring sheets. And if that's something that you think you may be interested in, then leave the comment below, and I can do that in a future entry. So let's jump into this passage, and as you see, I have already began the process of speeding this up. I love to see that. But this is another installment of the Women of Valor Bible journaling Bible study, and the passage that we were covering was actually on Sarah, but I decided I wanted to do a full spread because I did Hagar on the page before, and I wanted to do this whole spread, and it's because I had a specific idea as I was studying this passage and reading this passage. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the story of Sarah, and I won't go into detail, but I would welcome you or invite you to read Genesis chapter 17 and chapter 18, because, or really pretty much chapter 17 will cover most of what we're talking about here. But again, Sarah was Abraham's wife, and in the last entry we talked about Hagar, which was Abraham's second wife. And Sarah was barren, but God had promised that Sarah and Abraham would have a child. Not only was Sarah barren, but Sarah was old. and she was well beyond the age of her childbearing years. Yet God continued to share with Abram, and who became Abraham, that he would bless them. And not only would he bless them, he would bless them with many, many, many descendants. And before I continue to go, you will see that I did my watercolors, and I also used my heat dryer to dry the page, and I did that on camera this time before going to my pencils. And so God came to him and said, I will bless you, and that I will make you fruitful, and that I will establish my covenant with you. And these are all the things that God shared with Abraham. And we're looking at the women of the Bible. And so as God is saying these things to Abraham, I can imagine Sarah saying, kind of in the back of her head, how is this going to happen when I am old, right? And God, as a part of telling Abraham all the things that he is going to do, God tells Abraham, and as for your wife, you will no longer call her Sarah, but you will call her Sarah, and I will bless her, and I will surely give her a son. And to me, that was what rang true in my head through this entire passage, that I will bless her, that I have established this covenant, that I will bless you and your descendants, that I will make you fruitful. And all of these things, I'm emphasizing the I will, because how many times as we go through our life do we feel like we are the ones making things happen, that we are the ones that have to be go-getters, that we are the ones that have to be movers and shakers in order for good things to happen in our lives. And I just love this passage, that it wasn't about Abraham and it wasn't about Sarah, but it was about the goodness of God and his ability to make something out of nothing, to bless them infinitely from a barren womb. And so the Lord says this, and I'm going to just read it from the NIV because this is the one that I like to use when I'm reading and studying for myself. And it says in Genesis 17, verse 15, God also said to Abraham, as for Sarah, your wife, you are no longer to call her Sarah, but her name will be Sarah. I will bless her and will surely give you a son by her. I will bless her so that she will be the mother of nations. Kings of people will come from her. And so the story goes on, and Sarah hears this, and Sarah laughs, and she says, basically like, I will have a child, and she laughs. And in one of the things that we hear a lot, and it's repeated, and it's, I would say, even popular, but it's a true statement that we have to ask ourselves when we are in situations that we feel like are hopeless, or we can't see how God can bless us in that situation. And God says, is there anything too hard for God? And I wanted those two thoughts to balance each other on this page. It's this thought that I will bless her. God will be the source of the blessing, and that God can do anything. And then on the other side of it is like, is anything too hard for God? There's been times in my life where I have held this thought in my mind that God will bless me, and that I trust God with whatever comes my way. But then on the other hand, I am limiting God because I think, but this one, I'm not saying those words that this situation is too big for God to tackle. But in my faith and in my lack of hope in situations, I am thinking that God has limits. If I trust him, then I, know that he can do anything in his sovereignty and in his timing. And so that's one of the reasons why for this passage, I wanted to have it as a full spread. I wanted those thoughts to balance themselves. I have a figure that I'm, Demon Sarah. And it's this thought that, the sun being revealed and the sun rising and having her garment to carry from one page to the other. It's that her blessing flowed and it continued, and he continued to show himself faithful. And so I ask you, where do you look for the source of your blessing? And do you trust God that he has the ability to handle anything and everything that comes your way, and that he will provide you the strength and the courage and the comfort and the joy and the love and the peace and all those things that are necessary to endure your current circumstances? I will leave you with that, and I pray that this passage will bless you as I continue to put it all on paper. If you have any questions for me concerning this passage, well, then leave them below. I'm going to leave you as I continue to color my way through my thoughts, and I look forward to interacting with you all in the comment section.